welcome back to my channel. We have not done a reading vlog in a really long time, and I feel like I was feeling a bit discouraged by them. It's kind of hard to remember to like pick up the camera when I'm reading throughout the week, but I'm really gonna try, and that will keep me accountable as well too. But before we get into what I'm gonna be reading in this vlog, I want to talk about the last book that I read. The last book that I read is Take What You Can by Naima Coster. This book, I have not stopped thinking about it since I closed it. Okay, so I started this book, let me think, Friday night, and I finished it Saturday afternoon. Wow, 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 wow. What can I say? Okay, first of all, let me describe it. So the book follows Val and Millie. They met on a study abroad trip in France and then became best friends, right? So they're having this like fun experience, but they're still getting to know each other, but it's clear that they're both kind of like seeing what I call like the sadness within each other, and that seems to be like a connecting force. So they end up meeting this older woman. Her name is Helene, and she kind of becomes like a third in their duo, and it's like their fairy godmother, but like she's older, and Val is immediately drawn to this woman. You kind of understand why. Val has a very complicated relationship with her mother. They don't really have a relationship at this time, and Millie lost her mother, so it's like clear that Val is latching on to Helene in this way to kind of fill that role for her, and Millie's like, I don't get it. So it causes a bit of a rift between them, the closest that Val shares with Helene, and something happens once we flash forward to the present where Helene is no longer in their like a trio, and we don't know why. In the present storyline, Val and Millie are both pregnant. Val lives in North Carolina and is planning to move to New York where Millie lives so that they can like go raise their babies together, you know, friendship, whatever. And so we find out that Millie lives a very Park Slope wealthy life. She's an influencer. Her husband is like a famous chef or is a part of a restaurateur family group. So they live a very different life, and Val's husband is a PhD lecturer and she's supposed to be writing a book. So, you know, money is looking a little funny because she's now on postpartum, is on maternity leave, and her husband is the sole breadwinner, but she does not want to be a stay-at-home mom. So they move to New York, right? And she has these big ideas, like when she gets there, her and Millie are gonna do everything together. They're gonna like, you know, walk the girls together. They're both having girls, walk the girls together, coffee dates, music class, swim class, all the things, right? But that doesn't quite happen, and it creates a rift between them. Val's postpartum experience is rough and tough, right? Her husband ends up just like focusing on work and is barely present, and so she is a single mom essentially, and she's also had to put her dreams to the side because she has no time to write said book because she's focused on raising her daughter, which was not the plan that she had with her husband. And then Millie, she is wealthy, right? So as soon as she has her daughter, it's like she's postpartum, she's breastfeeding, and there's like the grief of like losing that autonomy that she had with her life is setting in, right? But she has the resources to help, so she can do all the classes. She is able to hire a nanny at no like strain or anything, and she's able to continue to like find pieces of herself throughout the day and her life that she had lost or that she thought she had lost while navigating postpartum. So they're having two very different experiences. Val has no help. Millie has all the help and all the resources. And so when she's complaining to Val about how things are stressful for her, hormones are everywhere, she's overworked, she's tired, Millie's like, just hire a nanny, send her to daycare. And Val's like, what are you talking about? I can't afford that. So it's like, even though the person that you're the closest to in the world is experiencing the same thing that you are, because of class and money, that relatability is no longer there. And like, what do you do from that? Naturally, that causes jealousy and resentment. And then their relationship goes through a really big like breaking point. And we find out what happened to Helene as well too. I won't say too much more than that, but it was interesting to see them navigate through really difficult conversations of how they both experience the friendship and also navigate conflict, because I think, you know, a lot of people are conflict averse. And so to be able to see that in the book, I loved it. I think it's an important conversation. I think jealousy is an important conversation to have in relationships in general too. But aside from all of that, right, we also find out that Millie has an open relationship, and it's something that she's trying to navigate postpartum, and also just what it would look like, you know, as an influencer for her to be living this lifestyle, right? What will people say? And there's a quote in the book that she shares, and where she said, trolls get the comments, but you get your life. I was like, ooh, that was a really good one. If you're a content creator, are you going through a tough time? Remember that. Trolls get the comments, you get your life. Anyways, I absolutely love this book. And I mean, look at the cover. This is an ARC, so I do plan on getting the final copy of this. I listened to the audiobook as well while I was reading the physical. Narrator did a fantastic job. Highly recommend. So yeah, if you like any of the things that I just talked about, you'll like this book too. So y'all know I tried to do a TBR. I'm sticking to it. So the book I'm going to be focusing on for the first half of this week is Day by Danticat. And as a reminder, this book is described as a vivid, timely story of a woman whose sense of self and family are called into question when she gets caught in a random act of violence. So I started it yesterday, and it starts off with the main character. She's at the mall to buy her daughter a phone, and there's an active shooter situation at the mall. And that's all I've gotten through so far. So yeah, I don't really know much else outside of that. I guess we'll continue to see how the story unfolds. I'll probably be done with this one by tomorrow. We'll see. I'll update you along the way, of course. So let's get reading. Okay, y'all, I'm not even gonna lie. It is the next day. I know. Let me tell you what happened. I ended up having the most gnarliest migraine. I could like barely keep my eyes open. I was nauseous. It was terrible. Terrible. I had to just go to sleep. There's nothing I can do. So I did read. I would say maybe 70% in today, and it's really good. Here's kind of an update. So like I said, she was in an accidental, like she was at the mall and then there was a shooting. And so she's made a decision to kind of not tell anyone in her life that she was at the mall when that happened. So everyone's talking about it, and she's clearly like having PTSD or experiencing symptoms of PTSD and like recent trauma and not saying anything about it. So that's been interesting. Outside of that storyline, we learn more about her. She has a daughter, and she was there at the mall to get her daughter a cell phone, and her daughter's father, they had a relationship, but they are now separated, and we don't really know why. There's like hints at like maybe they were just growing in a different direction, and she wanted to just kind of live life by herself. They met when they were in college. So that's one part of the storyline we're still learning. The book takes place in Miami, but also we learn about her parents who live in Haiti, and her mom, it seems like, is suffering from potentially dementia, and she's trying to figure out like how she can support them, maybe bringing them to Miami to take care of them. And then we're learning a little bit more about just like her relationship to Haiti and her parents too. Yeah, I'm really loving it. I feel like the story's moving pretty quickly, but not in a way that feels like rushed by any means. I feel like we're just like really learning more about this main character. So yeah, I'm probably gonna finish it, like I said, today. Then I'll do a full review, but I'm gonna listen to the audio book and then do my Lego set. As y'all know, I said I was building that art painting, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, the last time I built it was when I did that video where I bricked my phone for 24 hours. I haven't built it since. Yeah, so I have like concepts of a frame for that painting. Just a mess. But anyways, once I'm finished with Day, I am going to continue reading Friends and Family by Natalie Bazile. She is the author of Queen Sugar, and it is about a piercing examination of two best friends who find themselves at odds over their beliefs on race, identity, and allyship. I've started already, pretty into it so far. One of the characters, so it's their names are Babs and Nora. Babs, I think, is the black character, or was it Nora? I'm not sure. One of the characters is black, and she's hiding a secret. We don't know what that secret is yet so far. And one of the white characters in the friendship, she adopted a black son and like has done the work basically of being an ally. So yeah, we'll see how that continues to, of course, you know, shift and what the conflict will be. It sounds like it's of course race related. But yeah, I don't know if I'll finish this one this week. That's my aim. We'll see. But yeah, let's get to building and listening. Hey, as you can see, it's the next day. I finished Day by Danticat. Danticat? Not sure. I'll be doing my full review in just a second, but yeah, I feel like what I'm realizing in filming this like reading vlog for the week is that I'm like, do people even want to see this? Because To be honest, I work from home and I don't usually go anywhere during the week, like nowhere in particular. Like sometimes I'll go grab a coffee, but to go. And like, yeah, that's like the downsides of working from home is that like you really just don't be going nowhere for real. So I'm like, if I'm just sitting in the same spot throughout the whole week reading, is that boring? Y'all let me know. Anyways, let's go ahead and review day. Right. I'm also, please ignore my thumb. I was trying to fix my like couch to like fluff up the cushion a bit and my nail just flung off. Like that's the benefit of like press-ons. However, that was extremely painful. Wow. Really hated that. So I'm letting her chill for a second before I just glue the nail back on because that was, I thought I was seeing stars for a second. Anywho, let's get into the book. So when I first started talking about this book, I said that the main character, her name is Magnolia. She was at the mall when an active shooter situation happened, and she was at the mall getting her daughter Zoe a phone. She's 10 and all of her friends have phones, you know, age of the phones and social media. So all her friends have phones and she didn't want to be left out. So her mom was there for that. And then so due to the trauma of that, she decides to like tell no one in her life that she was there. I don't know if you can hear me with the mic. I'll just hold it. She tells no one in her life that she's there, and then she's like basically trying to avoid news about it, but is also very drawn to everyone that was there, obviously, and then learns more about the shooter. He was someone that, you know, had been planning it, had weird social media posts, his history was strange, you know, all the signs of those terrible people that do those things. That's one part of the story, and then we find out that her daughter's father, Zoe's dad, they're together, but they're separated. He wants to get married. He said something that made her feel like she couldn't trust him in the beginning of their relationship, and it's caused a strain ever since then. So they're kind of on again, off again, but like she feels like he's her comfort person, he's her home. When she was trying to navigate the shooting situation, she kept thinking about how he would handle that situation. Anyway, so that's them. On the other hand, we are learning about her parents who live in Haiti, and we're learning a little bit about what's going on there. There's like a lot of uproars and, you know, the government, and there's some violence, or parents aren't safe where they are, and so she's trying to get them to come, and her mom might be struggling with dementia. So we learn a little bit more about her parents, and her dad like had a son outside of like his marriage, and so that's her stepbrother, and he's like a part of this story as well too, as like kind of like their caretaker while, you know, she lives in Florida, then he lives with them in Haiti. So yeah, I think those are like the major points of the story. I really enjoyed it. It's actually quite a short story. It only took me, I think, you know, I had that migraine, so I could have probably finished in a day. It took me about maybe 2 days, if I'm being honest. I really enjoyed it. I think Edwidge has this wonderful way of like creating these characters that feel really real. Like, even though this story of course has like a plot, I would say it was more character driven in us being able to understand Magnolia, who she is, what's her motivation, and like what are the things that she's afraid of, what are the things that she's anxious about, just like even her experiences with motherhood and the relationship that she has with her mother, and like the romantic relationship. So she's like the main focus of the story, and it just was really beautiful. I definitely recommend, if you are someone that likes character driven stories, or just someone that is interested in just the way that I described the book, very, very much so a good one for sure. Again, Day by Edwidge Danticat. So yeah, I enjoyed this. So yeah, that was Day. So the thing about me, y'all know, I said the TBR, but I'm feeling like I'm being pulled into many different books that I'm very interested in right now. I'm gonna stick to it. I think for audio, my next audio book, it's midweek right now, so I still have time to read a little bit more. I'm going to keep reading Friends and Family and let y'all know how I feel about that. I haven't really made too much progress in this one, honestly. And then for audiobook, I'm going to be listening to Writer in Residence by Rhonda Mcknight. Super excited about that. I will actually be in conversation with her virtually with the good folks over at Kindred Stories. So I'm going to put the link to that to register in the description. So if you're interested in hearing more from Rhonda as we celebrate her new book, please come. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to get my questions all ready for that. So yeah, I'll update y'all on what I feel about that book, or Friends and Family too. And then we'll take it from there. Oh, and for those that were interested in how far I got with my Lego set, the frame is done. The frame is done. That's all I can say about it. As I've said to y'all before, I am a slow builder. I do not build Lego sets to be done with them quickly. I'm not interested in that. I'm really down to do the whole meditative part of it. So while I was finishing up Day through audio, I was finishing the frame. So now it's time to fill it. And who knows how long that'll take me. I don't know. But I'll keep updating y'all if I get any more progress on this for sure. Hey friends, what day is this of filming these videos? I think this is day 4. Yeah, day 4 of my reading week. I was gonna say, this is why when I finish a book, I need to sleep on my reviews about it, because after I talked about day finishing it yesterday, I went to sleep and I woke up with some new thoughts, so I must share. So here's the book. I was thinking to myself, okay, I said, the main character, Magnolia, that's her name, right? Yeah, Magnolia, she has this moment where, she went to the mall to get a phone for her daughter, active shooter situation, terrifying, doesn't tell anyone, and then we kind of learn more about her and her life story. I was like, oh right, because this moment where she's in this active shooting situation where her life is literally like she's terrified, right, is helping her, or was the catalyst for her reflecting on everything. I was like, oh right, duh. And yeah, she's reflecting on just every single relationship in her life, how she's parenting, what she wants for herself, her parents, right? How much her culture is impacting her decisions as well too. What it means to be Haitian, living in Florida, her parents' lived experiences versus hers. There's so much grief about what she thought her life would look like versus what it looks like now. I was like, okay, yeah. So you need to sleep on books before you give the review. That's my takeaway from that. Also, I forgot to mention, since I did listen to some of this through the audio, there's singing in the audiobook too, and I love listening to Haitian Creole. And the narrator does a great job there too, so things to look out for if you do grab the audiobook. It's a full experience. So yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I love this book. Yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna like it. Yeah. From that, I said I hadn't made much progress in Friends and Family yesterday. I made some progress today. Things are getting good. Okay, so it's Nora and Babs. Babs is the black friend. Sorry, I know I was confused last time I talked about this book. So Babs, should I tell y'all? Let me see if it's in the description. One second. It's not talked about, but I feel like it's important. It's important to the story. So Babs is married to a black man, and she's black, and they have a daughter, and it's important to them. So they're very pro-black. So they are trying to instill that in their daughter as well. And then we find out that Babs is cheating on her husband with a white man. Yeah. She was thinking he was a Mr. Progressive white man. And when his wife found out about her, she of course the man basically, leaned into the, oh, she seduced me story of it all. So then the wife is sending her these very nasty, racist text messages. And she's like, oh, I should have known. And she's having this conversation with Nora, her white friend, who has done the work, as we said. And I'm just like reading their interactions about how they're both perceiving the situation is so fascinating. And from the description, we know that there's going to be a moment where they're kids, I think. So remember, Nora adopted a black son, and then Babs, of course, has a black daughter. Cops are called on their kids while they're home alone. So yeah, I'm interested to see how things progress from here. But yeah, things are getting good. And I also started Writer in Residence yesterday on audiobook by Rhonda Mcknight. Like I said, I'm gonna be in conversation with her. So it's always interesting when I know I'm gonna be in conversation with an author. The way that I listen is different. So I'm listening to the audiobook and physically reading it, and I'm trying to start to form questions as I'm reading through the book. So yeah, so the listening experience with this one is going to be slower since I'm listening differently. But the narrator is Bonnie Turpin. Love Bonnie, doing a great job so far. What that book is about, or I'm 30% into the book so far. So we have our main character, her name is Alex. She is on deadline. She can't think of a good story. Nothing is really she's not feeling inspired by much. She's stressed out because her mom kind of relies on her as well too. So she needs to do well so that they can maintain their lifestyle. Her mom is like, you're fine. Mind you, she's written 29 books. So this will be her 30th. And she's doubting herself. She's like, what if I don't have any more stories? What if I don't have any more creativity? And there was this line in the book or something similar to this where it was like, if it's your gift or your calling, you'll never run out of ideas. I was like, it's a really good reminder. So yeah, she's stressed out about what her next book is going to be. She ended up going to this author talk and sees this man who the last time that she saw him, he was working at the bookstore, and now he's like a best-selling author. And so they had this raffle where winner gets a week at this writing retreat. So her mom, of course, who's trying to get things going for her, put her name in the raffle. She ends up winning. So now she's at this beautiful kind of secluded retreat, and she meets this Gullah Geechee woman, and they have like this kind of like bond already. She feels kind of like guardian angel-y for Alex. And of course, Gabe is there, and he also then offers her a job where she can teach students and stay in this cabin for free, because that's usually his job. But you know, he's on a world tour. He's a best-selling writer. So while he's away, she's going to take his job, and she don't really have no reservations. So she says yes, and she's of course attracted to Gabe, which I'm sure their relationship will blossom from here. But I'm having a good time. I love Rhonda Mcknight. Y'all know I love her books, because as soon as you like start a Rhonda Mcknight book, it's like you just put a warm, cozy blanket on. There's something so like familiar and comfortable about her writing, and her characters are just so real from like the very beginning. They're very relatable. So I'm experiencing all of that, and oof, I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited to keep reading. I'm so excited to talk to her. So yeah, that's my update for my reading. I'm not going to be done with any of those books by the end of this week, or by the end of this video. Well, let me not say never. I don't know. I'll keep updating y'all for sure. Okay, hey, it is Sunday, which means that I've been basically filming every day this week, which to be honest, I've truly never done. It was very much so kind of challenging, but I think I was overthinking it, because I really don't really leave my house like that during the week, unless it's like to go to like a book event, or just like maybe a one-off of hanging out with friends. So a lot of my reading does take place at home or in my car. So I was like, do people want to see that? But it was fun to challenge myself to this. And I was able to finish 2 books within this week. So I know I've been talking about Day. Again, I really enjoyed this one. Highly recommend. It comes out August 25th. So soon. You'll be able to get this soon. And then I did end up finishing Writer in Residence by Rhonda Mcknight, which like I'm glad I was able to get this done so I can start working on my questions for that event that I shared I'm going to be doing virtually with the folks over at Kindred Stories. Here's the flyer for that, and the link to RSVP will be in the description if you want to join us for that. But I ended up really enjoying this book. Again, I think with Rhonda's work, it just feels like a cozy, warm hug. Like her books require you to slow down. And I think, you know, in the world of like a lot of fast pace, like I need to like be drawn to a story immediately. Like this book is just always like a breath, or her writing in general is just always a breath of fresh air. So yeah, I think I mentioned this before, but you know, we're following the main character named Alex, and she has written 29 books. She's trying to write her 30th, and she's feeling a little bit stuck, and then she ends up running into another author who his name is Gabe, and he's got like a huge book out right now. He's like a big superstar, and like she finds herself comparing herself to him a little bit, but there's also like this attraction between them. And so she wins the opportunity to go to like a cabin, like a writer's retreat for free, and then she ends up getting a job teaching students around the area as well, ends up staying longer there. And through that, she meets this student who she sees a lot of herself in and wants to help her like nourish her writing dreams, and that is kind of helps reinvigorate her and her relationship with writing as well too. So that was beautiful to see. And there's like a mystery element to this where Alex doesn't know much about her dad. She knows that he passed away before she was born, and so she's trying to find more information about him, and through then she's learning also about Gullah Geechee people, and I loved that part of the story too. It just was really beautiful to kind of see how Rhonda kind of wove in Gullah Geechee history into the story, and then kept that mysterious element to it. There was still romance as well between her and Gabe. Highly recommend. This one comes out September 8th, so not too far from now. I'm really excited to talk with Rhonda because I have questions about her research with Gullah Geechee folks, what it's like to kind of not, I would say, how to get out of a creative slump, and how to allow yourself to be in that space of acknowledging jealousy and pressure, and how it's showing up in your ability to be creative. I want to know more about that. This is also, I think, Rhonda's 29th or 30th book too, so I'm also curious on like what part of her experience is mirrored through Alex's, and what did she learn about herself while writing this book. So yeah, this is just a little sneak peek of the things I'm thinking about asking her about in that conversation. But yeah, really interesting. Also, I read every day this week that I was filming, which I think filming really helped keep me on track for that. The only day that I kind of didn't read, I think I read like one page, was on Saturday, and that was because it was a a really busy day. I'll have clips here of that. I went to Booknik here in Houston with my friend Rachel, and it was okay. I think we kind of expected there to be a lot more with the event, but it was very chill. So yeah, we stopped by there, we grabbed some dinner, and then we went to see a live show of a podcast that we both watch. It's called I Said What I Said, and so that was really fun. But it was a really long day. We didn't get home until like midnight after being out all day in this Texas heat. So there was not a lot of reading going on Saturday, but worth it for sure. So yeah, if you enjoyed this reading vlog, please let me know. Should I do more of these? I'm not really sure. And I want to give an update. I am sticking to my TBR just a little bit. I have veered off, but for the most part, I'm sticking to it. So we'll of course review all the books I read in August soon. But yeah, if you made it this far, I appreciate you always. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.